So we're going to begin to look at how to create custom icons. And in order to do that, we're going to actually do something that's relevant to the thing that we want to create an icon for. So to start that, we need to understand what this color talk does. So I'm going to go over here to File, New, and I'm going to create a brand new square document. And I'm just going to put in something like 1024, tab 1024, and say OK. So now that we have a 1024 square document, I'm going to click on the Color Talk button. So I'm just going to move this over, click Color Talk, and we're going to end up with this brand new dialog that you've probably never ever seen before. Now the idea with Color Talk is that it's going to allow you to create a custom equation that will define some various different parameters, more often than not gradient related. The best way to understand what Color Talk does is to come over here to Open and choose to open one of these pre-existing Color Talk programs. So the first one here is HSV, hexcone slice V equals 0.5. Okay, so what does this mean? Hue saturation value. This is a hexcone slice, which means basically a radial gradient of value of 0.5. Well, 0.5 would be 50%. So we're going to say, click on this, and we're going to say OK. And now we're just going to come over here and we're going to say Run. And when we do that, you're going to see that it creates exactly what it says. It creates a hue value saturation gradient here, radial gradient, starting from no saturation all the way to full saturation at the edges. And it does this through the entire spectrum of hues and at a value of 50% gray, as you can see here by the zoomed in view of this center point here. That's 50% gray. So this equation that you're seeing right up here, this equation is defined by these operands, operators, functions, constants, and temps. And if you want to know what each of these do, just simply click on it and then click the Help button. And when you do, it will give you the help for that particular option. And you can also cycle through these by clicking Next or Previous, and you can read what all of these various different commands do. Now, if you're a mathematically inclined person, you can do an awful lot with Color Talk. It can be really, really fun. I'm going to go ahead and choose to open another one of these, and we're going to look at something like, say, our smooth dab. This can be something that can be very useful when we're creating a custom brush from a captured dab type. So I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to say Run. And what that basically does is creates for us instantly a gradient that would make a very nice captured dab for a smooth type brush. We can use this as a base for something that we want to work on. So I'm just going to go ahead and say OK, and we're done with that now. Now, let's say that I want to create a custom icon for Color Talk that's going to make sense for me. Well, what I can do is I can create a new document. So I'm going to go File, New, and it needs to be square because the icons are always square, and it needs to be 30 pixels by 30 pixels. So I'm just going to type in 30 and 30 and say OK. Now, as you can see, this is a fairly small document, and these icons, as you can see, are not really huge to begin with. So generally speaking, you don't want to get too caught up in this. You want to definitely try to work with these types of small documents and maximize the space that you have available to you. For something like Color Talk, if we click on Color Talk and we choose to go, say, Open, and we'll choose the Hue Value Gamut Map. So I'm going to say OK, and we say Run. What you're going to see here is that we end up with a little bit of detail, not a whole lot of detail, but enough detail to tell what it is that we're working with here. So I'm just going to say OK. And now if I say Select All, and then I come over here to Color Talk and I context click on this and I choose to Capture Custom Icon, like so. And then I hover over that, you'll see that that's exactly what we've got. We've captured this as a custom icon, and we can choose to View as Text or View as Icon. And that is just something that we can do on any of these commands or even on these custom brushes. So we'll just go ahead now and just close out that quick icon that we had, and we'll close this one out too. And we'll do something like, say, our Glow Digital Airbrush. So I'm just going to come over here, I'm going to say File, New, and again we'll do 30 pixels by 30 pixels. Say Open, and we're going to go ahead and say Edit, Fill with Black. Now the way that the Glow brush works, and I'll just click on the Glow Digital Airbrush, is that it chooses a color. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just close out our papers real quick, go to Color, and we're going to choose a color like so. And we're going to need to get a fairly small brush here, something on the order of, say, 5 pixels. So 5 pixels and 25% opacity is fine. If I begin to just do some scribbles like so, right? That says Glow brush to me, right? So I'm happy with that. We'll say select all. And now I'll just come over here, context click on this and say capture custom icon. And now if I hover over that, you can see that we end up with this as a custom icon. So making custom icons is just as easy as you could possibly want it to be. It works for any of these that are already icons or any of these that come in as text. And as a matter of fact, you can view this as text as well. So it's not that it always has to be an icon if it comes in from a brush or a paper. It can be text as well.